Hi, and welcome back. Today I'll be reading from chapter 25. We are with grandmother. She is still in the Wat in Thailand, and the year is 2004. The first segment that I'll be reading, uh, it's incorporating our male narrator, Raven, with grandmother. And I was so thankful and loved being able to have these two characters communicate with each other because one is dead and one has a spirit that wanders at night. So that was a really fun element to be able to incorporate the story. And I'll share the second bit when I get to it. I closed my eyes. The raven landed beside me, the flutter of his wings beckoning my spirit to wander with his. The raven seemed sad. He was always sad. I've got something I want to show you. Yes, my spirit said. I know you miss Laos, but Christ, you're better off here. With a swoosh, his black wings thrust us above the earth, and we ascended together to the mountain in Laos. The raven introduced my spirit to a Hmong woman who was born into fear. She was born in the jungle, born to parents whose grandparents had sided with the Americans during the Secret War. The woman born into fear is hunted like an animal, said Raven. We're still hunted? Yes. Not a goddamn thing has changed. Your people are still hunted by the Laotian military. As Raven and I listened to the woman's thoughts and moved with her through her world, I was once again shown what it meant today to be Hmong in Laos. Time had not moved the Hmong forward, and we were still stuck, back in an era when it was me in that jungle. And for me as a writer, it was so important to make that point because war is never over. And especially for grandmother and all the Hmong people, it's still going on. And it was, as I was saying, it really was great to be able to have their spirits travel together. So Raven could take her to Laos and witness that. And he does do that. And when he takes her through the jungles, he shows her a family that's living and hunted daily by the military. And grandmother really realizes that no, things have not changed because she gets to see it for herself. The second part of the reading that I'd like to do today, and I'm including it because one of the things that I was introduced to when I was traveling was Buddhism. And I was in awe of the calmness, the compassion, and the kindness that comes with that religion. And because grandmother is living at a Wat, which was run by an abbot and the monks and the nuns, there is a very Buddhist tradition that's going on here in that kindness. And there's also a lot of interaction with the monks. So they do hear stories. And this one story that I wanted to share today just really shows the kindness in that Buddhist mindset. How did you stop hating? Bao wants to know. How? It is one of the most important questions my Bao has ever asked, and one of the most difficult to answer. It's not easy, I begin honestly. Let me share with you a story one of the monks told me. Once, there was a powerful demon. It had green eyes, a red body, and long black claws that sprang from fat, human-like hands. The demon had become powerful because of what it liked to eat. What did he eat? Bao asked. The demon lived on people's anger, so it was never hungry. It traveled all over the earth, feeding on this anger. It would eat when little brothers and sisters fought, or when husbands yelled at their wives. And when there was a war, it would sink its teeth into the battle and chew and chew. With each mouthful it swallowed, it had more and more power. The demon ate so much, he was the most powerful demon on earth. One day, the demon decided that it would like to try something different because it was tired of eating human anger. It all tasted the same. The demon had an idea. It looked up to the sky and laughed. It laughed as it ran up into the sky. It laughed as it ran through the clouds. It laughed as it ran into the sun. It laughed all the way to the divine kingdom. At the divine kingdom, the demon was met by two guards. The guards were taller than the demon, and they spoke in bigger voices than the demon. The guards were angry by the demon's unexpected arrival. "What are you doing here?" one of the guards roared louder than thunder. "You are not welcome," hollered the other. The demon smiled, opened his mouth, and feasted on the guard's anger. The demon got bigger. He said, "This divine anger is delicious." The demon strutted and puffed out his chest. It was almost bursting with power. It walked right up to the thrones where the gods sat. The gods were not sitting on their thrones. Up until now, they had been gathered around the room talking about things that gods discuss. The demon went over to the biggest throne, the one where the most important god sat. It sat down, rubbing its back into the throne as it settled in comfortably. As it did, the gods around the demon became enraged by such an act of disrespect. How dare this demon sit on a divine throne? As the anger around it grew, so did the demon. It grew bigger and it became even more powerful. The most important god was wise. He had watched the demon and realized that anger was the demon's food, and that every time he ate, he grew bigger, more powerful. The god walked over to the demon, sitting on his throne, and in his most kind voice he said, "Welcome to the divine kingdom." The demon got a little smaller. "It's very nice that you came to visit us." The demon got smaller still. The god kept talking, and each time he fed the demon loving kindness, it got smaller and smaller. The god continued to feed the demon compassion rather than show the demon anger until the demon disappeared. Dear Bao, I fed my demon for a long time. I thought of my dead family. I thought of all the Hmong who had died and all the Hmong who are still dying at the hands of the communists. I thought of all the bad things that had happened in my life. I thought only of the bad and turned away from the good. The demon ate from my heart. I fed him every day. I fed him until I heard the monk. He was outside of the Wat, his pale blue umbrella perched over his head, while he told this Buddhist story to some Hmong. My ears were ready to hear his words. I decided at that moment I was tired. I decided that I would rather breathe out the air of compassion than feed my demons. So there we have the essence of Isra and the way she's always trying to teach and bestow these lessons upon her granddaughter. Tomorrow we will be back with Isra. We know she's in Cambodia. Let's find out what she's up to. Thank you for listening.